I hope I am not getting. This is the first time I heard my voice today. I got a sleeveless on right now, cause again we're in Georgia, and it already feels like it's going to be transitioning to warmer temperatures. I feel like we get our summer here like sooner. Having lived in like New York and stuff, this is like nothing. Like whatever they consider cold here, to me, isn't even close. The sun's behind us. Yeah, so having lived in the East Coast, like what we experience here in Georgia is like nothing. Like it's not cold. But I'm bringing up weather right now because I do feel a little breezy. I looked at the weather and it said it was gonna be in the 60s and 70s today. So I was like, okay, cool. Um, let me get some air. Let me put my skin out a little bit. Yeah, lots of fillers today. But anyways, it's like day 3 of Ramadan. I'm not Muslim, but this is my second year observing. I think in previous years, I've observed from the outside looking in, and this is like the direct definition of observing, just like looking. So in previous years, I've it's like you don't notice people like trickle off of social media until after the fact, until it's like Eid, I think. Then you see people popping out, with all their outfits, and it looks amazing. And the camaraderie, also just understanding how many people are actually Muslim in the world. I think the stats have to be in favor of Muslims. I think it might be like the number one religion in the world, because the world is bigger than America, or is bigger than what you believe it to be. If let's say you're a Christian, or if you don't believe any religion, but I think it's one of the biggest religions in the world. So why do I observe? Why do I partake? Number one, I caught wind that some of my friends who they do have a connection to the religion, because their dad was actually Muslim when their mom was Christian. So their dad used to observe Islam, and their dad had converted, but because of that, they would actually like fast every year, and they used to do that. And as my Christian friends, I used to be like, oh, you guys are fasting? And at the same time, too, these are people who live a earthly life. But it was very interesting to me that they still took it upon themselves to fast during that time. This is 30 days, no water, no food, just prayer, prayer, devotion, discipline. It's not an easy time. Whether you're religious or not, whether you're Christian or not, you're still making a sacrifice. You feel me? So that was inspiring to me. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little bit of FOMO, because it was like, why am I finding out about this right now? This was like after the fact. I'm like, oh, you guys are like doing this thing. Like you guys are like, you not even doing this thing, you guys have done this thing. So yeah, it was like, you guys have done this thing. So it was a little bit of FOMO of like, dang, you know how people these days be like, involve me. But that's what it kind of felt like. And when I first embarked, it was very powerful. One, you get to learn about a different culture, different religion. I think there's a Bible verse that basically says, when you visit people that have different beliefs or observations, like, do like them or respect their traditions, right? I'm not at the point yet where I'm like, I can spit out Bible verses like off the top of my head, but I do read it a lot, so I do come across the information. But yeah, basically, the gist of it is like, respect other people and their beliefs, respect their traditions. So if you go to a person's house and they pray before they eat, you should also pray before you eat. You feel me? I think a lot of people think of the Bible and think it's like this exclusive thing where it's like, okay, you're either Christian or you're, if you're not Christian, then you're not of faith. Or I know the whole thing is always like, okay, if you don't believe in God or Jesus, you won't make it to heaven or something like that. There are different perspectives on the Bible. And people take certain things literally. Like we know even with Islam, people can be, any religion or any belief, you can always find someone who's an extremist or a person who takes the truth and bends it or manipulates it to fit whatever their agenda is. And that could be good or bad. We've seen it happen with bad intentions. I would say that when it comes to Ramadan, me actually following through with it is like me, look at this bird. This is a pretty bird. Don't be scared. But yeah, so me actually doing that is like, I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not afraid of adapting someone else's practice or religion or way of thinking. We are multifaceted, you feel me? Like, and there is no, at least from my opinion, there is no ultimate or penultimate truth where it's like, yo, if you just do this or this is the way. The world is too vast for that. I am a representation of that. I am a Kenyan, Ugandan, Congolese, American with a Korean name. Like, I feel like in a weird way, I represent the world. I represent how diverse it is, how rich it is, and that's something to celebrate. There's no point in my life that I've thought that I can only be one thing, right? I can only be Congolese, I can only be Ugandan, I can only be Kenyan. No, there's so much to learn at the end of the day. And I do think that if we lived in a world where we appreciated each other, appreciated each other's cultures and individuality and looked for what we could learn from each other, then we would be much further, because we wouldn't be thinking of, let me conquer this person, let me force them into this mold. Let me make them into who I think they need to be. At the end of the day, would be more so thinking of, what can I learn from them? From what perspective can I appreciate their culture? Is the way they create music something that me and my people could learn from? Okay, bet. Let's figure out how they make drums. Let's figure out what rhythms, grooves, patterns that they have. Is the way they communicate something we can learn from? The numbers we use today, like, if we didn't have Arabs, if we didn't have the Chinese, if we didn't have Indians, and if we didn't trade, if we didn't connect, if we didn't borrow from each other, barter, we wouldn't have this world today, right? This world is so dependent on people having various forms of thought. So I think it's very important to be open and accepting of other people, other cultures. It's never going to be your way and no other way, I think. And in a lot of years, we do things the same way for so long. And a few things happen. You either get bored of doing it the same way, or you figure out that there's a better way you could do things. Like 10, 20, maybe longer years from now, this world's gonna look completely different, let alone 50, 100 and more, right? Our normal today is self-driving cars, delivery robots, AI chatbots. That's our normal, The world is meant to evolve. So I didn't really have any set thing to talk about today. I just was overdue for a walk, honestly. And in the spirit of Ramadan, I just wanted to embrace the topic and give you all my perspective on it, especially as a non-Muslim. I don't have like a Quran or anything because I think that would be dope if I switched it up today and read something from the Quran, but I've never really found a Bible, like a Quran app that like made sense for me, because I think it is one of those languages that it's best when you speak Arabic, because it keeps it genuine. But we'll look to the Bible and see if we have a verse that resonates. So I'll just read my verse of the day. But I don't care what happens to me as long as I finish the work the Lord Jesus gave me to do. And this work is to tell the good news about God's gift of undeserved grace. I think that's very important. I'm not going to lie. I'm just at day 3 of Ramadan, and I would say that I had a moment yesterday or last night that I kind of felt like I faltered, like I wasn't disciplined, and I was struggling because I did have these overwhelming negative emotions. I had one of those long days where you keep doom scrolling, you keep refreshing your page, and you're not really feeling connected with the world. You're seeking for peace that you can't find in a second. So you spiral, right? You feel like in that moment it's so important to fix the feeling that you're having. It's important to just feel something, feel anything, feel human. Feel like there's hope in this world where we can be isolated. Like I'm in the middle of this intersection or junction right now, and it's like I can't tell you any one of my neighbors' names. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's the world we live in, so it can be very isolating. But, we are unified by different factors these days. This video could make a new connection with a person. Religion is making new connections with people, and forever will be. And I think that's what it's important to believe in something that's bigger than you. So in those moments in the dark, or in those moments that you're alone, you have something deeper that you can connect to, right? So you don't spiral all the way and do something you will completely regret. But if you falter, if you do something wrong, it's important to understand what that Bible says, that there's God's gift of undeserved grace. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to do everything right. God will still love you, right? He will still give you grace. That's my that's my trading alarm, but I think we'll end there. I'll head back and try to get some work done. But Ramadan Mubarak to anyone that's observing or fasting during this period. And if you're not, also Christians, happy Lent, for anyone that's in a period of discipline right now, whether it's religious or not. I wish you the best luck, and I'll see you all on the next walk.